Steve is wrong on property rights like he's wrong on the Second Amendment. Now, one amendment that we haven't talked about in statewide races before looms very large this year, the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment and the whole notion of state sovereignty. Some people in this country need to be reminded that the federal government is the creation of the states and not the other way around. Steve Shannon is not going to fight his allies in Washington, and he's flip-flopped on the marriage amendment. He voted with us to put it on the ballot, and then 2 weeks before the vote he came out and opposed it publicly. You know, all the sort of mush you get from flip-floppers. And I'll tell you, we've had one debate. He wouldn't take positions. Cap and trade. I will fight Washington shoving this down our throat. What will you do, Steve? No answer. I declared my intention to defend our right to work status as a state. It's critically important to our economics to make a good living now and in the future. He wouldn't take a position. Now, mind you, Steve has a 100% AFL-CIO voting record. I have failed that test. I have a 0. Yes. To give you an example, Virginia Free, which some of you may have heard of, counts voting against property rights as a pro-business vote. FIB doesn't play any of those games. In the most recent ratings, I got 100% and Steve got 50. And he says, well, I'm a pro-business Democrat. I need you all to write letters to the editor. We don't leverage that advantage. Come October, he's going to leverage that money advantage. He's going to leverage that money advantage. I am blessed to be on a very strong ticket with Bill and Bob, who've both run statewide before. What's the reason not to vote for Bill Bowling? He hasn't done anything that would cause anybody, other than a sort of frothing at the mouth Democrat, to vote against him. And of course, we're not going to get the frothing at the mouth Democrat votes anyway. I tell people this is a rematch, a math test, and a debate along this ticket. And I think we should just have the math test this week and end the Wagner bowling race right now. Put her out of her misery. The Democrats know they're in trouble. But they're only in trouble if we drive our positions home in these races. But we really do have a significant opportunity. And I tell you that because I want you to smell the blood in the water. It's there, folks. We can really eat these guys lunch this year. We've got a real opportunity. And to put Virginia back on a good track of governance, it's so key that we win that top office, that we win the governorship. Certainly Bob doesn't want to have a Democrat Attorney General. I don't want him to either. But I am running against a flip-flopper on sales taxes, on property taxes, on the marriage amendment. And he ducked 3 different subjects, actually 4, global warming I didn't mention to you before. Duck, 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 duck in our debate. That's what he did. And that's the difference. I think people want an Attorney General who will fight with Washington, and even fight with their own folks when they're wrong. That kind of independence. And Steve has never really fought for anything in the House. He has sit and the debates and the fights have gone on around him. He's been a backbencher. And now he wants a leadership position. He hasn't shown any leadership in the House of Delegates.
It's so important that the younger people are definitely not watching news and reading newspapers in the traditional way that we do.
On Facebook or Twitter, tweeting, which my campaign manager is not very happy with. You know, it's a very risky thing when you let your candidate just get out there and tweet. We've got a lot more going on our Facebook page. We have 3 times the number of folks there. If I remember my numbers correctly, 2/3 of the voters will be over 46. And younger folks engage more in presidential races. This isn't going to be like '08. And I'm not saying no effort should be made. Just understand the realities of the electorate we're dealing with. Less than 50% of folks are likely to vote this year. Last year it was 75% in Virginia. That's a big drop. So who are those people? Who are those people? And what we need your help to do is to find especially that 25% and those among them that agree with us and get
immigration and how we deal with that, and it's also related to localities
Yes.
and powers and gangs and drugs and the influence of illegal aliens. I mean, they're illegal, not the legal aliens.
party principles. And I'll tell you, legal immigrants, and I have plenty of them in my district in Northern Virginia, two characteristics I see all the time: strong families and small businesses. And that sounds like a Republican to me. And you mentioned gangs. I have MS-13 in my Senate district. It is an El Salvadoran-based gang. It is the most violent gang in Virginia, and they draw 90% of their recruits from the illegal population. 90%. There is a relationship between illegal immigration and public safety. The gang problem is the #1 violence problem in Virginia. And I would certainly expect to continue trying to ratchet up the pressure, continually ratcheting up the pressure on these gangs, give our Commonwealth's attorneys more tools to target them and our law enforcement more opportunities to go after them with coordination. That would probably be the main public safety issue, along with, for me, mental health, which I'm the General Assembly expert on. So we need to continue a steady Republican presence in the Attorney General's office, and I hope with your help to bring it there. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you at lunch.